Hey all, hope you saw our last video where we previewed New Zealand, the perennial underdogs of the tournament. If you're not like, shared, and subscribed already, please go ahead and do that. And today, with that, we'll preview our next team, which is England. So England is another strong contender for the trophy. I think we would place them on par with Australia for the favorites title tag for this tournament. England is a very strange story, right? In the 90s, in the 2000s, and in the early part of 2010 as well, England getting knocked out in the first round was a very common feature, right?
Yeah.
They just didn't have the squad to face up to the might of the other stronger teams, and there was constant chopping and changing. They didn't have a stable squad, and that led to them getting knocked out soon. 2015 World Cup was their lowest point, where they got knocked out by Bangladesh to be eliminated from the 2015 World Cup. And that is when the turnaround started, where Morgan came in. He became the captain, and he started this whole renaissance of England taking up positive cricket. 2016 T20 World Cup, had it not been for that famous Brathwaite assault at the end, England might have very well won that World Cup, right? And then
Yes.
2019
Mhm.
ODI World Cup, that was a dream comeback from them after the debacle of the 2015 ODI World Cup. And after that, England has been consistent in the last few tournaments. Even in the last tournament, they made it to the semi-finals. This time as well, semi-finals looks like a sure shot for them, unless they somehow manage to lose to New Zealand. But semi-finals, they look very strong. So with that, let's preview their squad.
So yeah, as Sujay mentioned, one of the title contenders are going, along with Australia, and again a very well balanced squad, and the engine room again being the all rounders. So I think that's one common theme we found, that teams which have very good all rounders are going to be looking stronger for obvious reasons, because they bat deeper, they bowl deeper. So coming to the England squad, you see the batsmen. So less batsmen like we saw in Australia, and more all-rounders. So main batsman is the captain wicketkeeper Joe Butler. So he's the opener, and pretty much I think the best T20 batsman around currently. If I'm unbiased towards Surya Kumar Yadav, so he's one of the like legendary people in the game, and he'll be opening with the comeback man Alex Hales. So this guy was a very brave selection by the selectors, considering he was frozen out by Ian Morgan. And Alex Hales has been playing all over the world in the T20 leagues, and he's got a very good record in BBL. So these two make a potent opening combination. And then David Malan is going to be the circuit breaker. So that's what we discussed with Australia, right? They do not have one, but they have one in David Malan. So in case they have an early wicket, David Malan can come in and stabilize things for a bit and then start hitting. Because this guy can play a slow game. He can tonk the ball long way also. So very good batsman and a left-hander to boot. So you get a
Right.
left-hander also early in the order. Harry Brook has been a revelation. He's a youngster, and honestly, I hadn't seen much of him, but he has a very good record in PSL, which speaks volumes of his talent. And in the recent series against Pakistan, the seven-match T20 series, I did catch a few matches, and he was very impressive. And even if you saw the warm-up game against Pakistan in Australia, this guy again with Livingston, he was standing toe to toe and hitting sixes at will. So he has pretty much come in from nowhere and blocked the number 5 slot, which is critical in T20s, because he can take the singles and he can hit the long ball. So surprisingly, there are big names on this list, but you will see Harry Brook being one of the first names on the team sheet, and some big name missing out in place of him. And there's a reason for it. So we'll see that talent in this World Cup. And Phil Salt is a backup keeper, so he got an opportunity in Pakistan. He, I think, in one match chased down the score in 14 overs. That was his big announcement to world cricket. So he's a backup keeper. He'll be a backup opener. So good utility player and well deserved in the squad, I believe. So coming to the seamers now. So Sujay, we have Timon Mills again, RCB legend, and Chris Jordan, another RCB legend. So yeah, what is your opinion on
Right,
seamers?
right. And again, very fond RCB memories of these guys. So on a serious note, like what we saw with Australia, right? Very strong suits. Both of them, batting and bowling, they're equally powerful. In England, you can see a trend. The batting is much more stronger than the bowling, right? Bowling can hold on its own, but again, you can see some, important things here. Markwood is the clear differentiator here. He's the only bowler in this squad who can crank it up consistently upwards of 150.
About
Even in the
150.
recent
Hmm.
series, which they played against Pakistan, he was the one who used to constantly push them back with very impactful spells, right? He has the ability to not only bowl fast but get that uncomfortable bounce for batsmen. So that way he's again going to be very crucial for England's fortunes if they aspire to make it far. David Willey is again a more English conditions kind of bowler. Tends to get it to nibble in the first 2 3 overs, although I'm not sure in Australian conditions with the
Maybe
Kookaburra
get
ball.
the
Yeah,
movement.
considering it's not the Duke ball that they use in England, right? It's a Kookaburra ball, so I'm not sure how much, if he's selected, if he can get it to move. Chris Jordan is an enigma, right? He's been
Yes.
a death bowler for England for the longest time. I think easily 7 to 8 years at least, right? But again, he's
Yes.
sometimes he's very good as a death bowler. Sometimes he can totally go off the boil. So you never know with Jordan what side of the bed he gets up from, right? That particular morning. Tymel Mills is a last minute replacement. So Reece Topley was the bowler who was part of the initial squad, and Reece Topley had his own skill set, right? Again, a left armer, and since he was so tall, he was able to generate that extra bounce and that extra yard of pace as well. Unfortunately, he's got injured, and Tymel Mills has been drafted in. Tymel Mills again. Has played in various leagues around the world, right? And he's rated very highly across the leagues for his death bowling skills. Again, not a very proven performer at the international level. Some of that potential
Hmm.
promise that he showed didn't quite translate at the international level, but they could certainly work with his skills. Uh, for me, the big bowler to look out for in England squad will be Adil Rashid, because Adil Rashid is somebody who, is an attacking bowler. Sometimes you see
Hmm.
spinners getting defensive in T20s, but Adil Rashid always goes for wickets. He has a very potent googly as well, which many reputed batsmen we have seen don't pick it up so easily. So Adil Rashid is somebody who England will look, to get those wickets in the middle overs. And overall, it's a good bowling attack, but definitely teams will not be scared of them. But
Yeah.
they could pose a threat on their day.
Definitely. And that brings us to the all rounders, which is again the engine room. And here I think they are standing toe to toe with Australia. So they have five, in fact. And Moeen Ali to start with. So he was a standing captain for England when they toured Pakistan recently. So he's a decent hitter at the end, gives you the 2 3 overs in the power play or in the middle. So very utility cricketer. Sam Curran has been a revelation. So this guy, I remember, played against India initially, and he surprised us. And as of today, I think his stint in CSK definitely helped him.
Yep.
And I was very surprised when I recently saw him bowling the Yorkers. So he is going to be the new designated death bowler, I think, to start with in this tournament. And he bowled very well in this recent series of Australia and England. Australia had a very chaseable target, and this guy bowled two brilliant last 2 overs of his spell, and he stopped the Australian chase. So watch out for him. And he's a handy batter, as we all Indians know, right? In the Test matches, he scored so many against us whenever we used to get the early wickets. So can't forget his batting. Ben Stokes, Kohli's favorite cricketer, who he remembers in the field all the time. So a surprise inclusion, considering he hasn't played white ball cricket for a long time, but big match temperament. We cannot doubt that ever. So he has come in for pure reputation, and he has been playing very aggressively in baseball, as we know, the new term around England Test cricket nowadays. So Ben Stokes is a risky inclusion, but yeah, with his big match temperament, you cannot really not keep him if he's available to play. Liam Livingston, a big he's like the new big thing, I think. Like Australia has Maxwell, England has Liam Livingston, but I think he's more consistent any day, anytime, and he has a method to his madness. So in a team like Punjab, he was so consistent. So you can imagine how good this guy can be, right? So he would bat anywhere in Punjab and get. He was, I think, got 400 runs at 150 plus. So that's more than enough for a middle order
He had a
batsman.
lot of
Along
impact.
with
Yeah.
and along with that, he can bowl off spin and leg spin, right? So that's another very interesting thing. Left hand is he bowls off spin, right hand is bowls leg spin. So not a 4 over bowler, but he'll give you 2 overs when the pitch is a bit giving assistance to spinners. So very good cricketer to have. Chris Stokes, again, one of the legendary England all rounders in England with the Duke ball swinging conditions. So here he will be tested. If he gets some early assistance, he's a very good new ball bowler. I have my doubts on the death bowling skill, but again, a very handy number 8 to have, I believe, because we see in all our lineups, the number 8 has to be a bit of a batter. You cannot stick to 7 bats in a T20. You need an extra depth at the end, so that the openers and the middle order can keep going on at a fast run rate and not worry about losing wickets. So I think the all-rounders are at par, if not better, than Australia with the quality they have. So now let's see what playing 11, because here, because of the quality of the squad, it is difficult to have a playing 11. So yeah, go on, Sujay. What do you think
So,
about the batting?
on the playing 11, I think the batting pretty much picks themselves, the batsmen. But
Yes.
for England to have a great run, including maybe winning the trophy, I see Joss Butler
Mm,
needing to play a talismanic role here, because we saw it
yes.
in the recent IPL as well. He carried Rajasthan to the final, being the top run scorer. Again, he'll have to do that. For England, and from the time he's moved up
Mm,
to that opening position, I think he's unlocked a different level of skill, right?
okay.
So I see
Yes.
Joss
Yes.
Butler really needing to up his game for England to go a long way. David Malan will have to play the anchor role, because in this squad where Butler goes hard, Hales goes hard, Stokes will go hard,
Mm,
Brook will go hard, and obviously Livingston for sure will go hard. So David Malan
mm.
will have to be that circuit breaker, as you say, who will need to hold his innings together when the others, go hell for leather. And even the bowling, I think. One thing which will need to be seen is who will step up to support Mark Wood and Adil Rashid, right? Because
Yes.
the other bowlers, while will play more of a supporting cast, so that will need to be seen. Sumit, your thoughts on the bowling as well as the batting?
So batting selects itself. One thing I saw, which was done in the warm-ups as well, is when they want to, have a very fast start or maintain momentum, you will see Ben Stokes coming at 3 at times, so that he continues the hitting process, and they keep operating at 8 or 9 and over, which the openers will provide. If they lose
Right.
an early wicket, I think Malan will coming in to solidify the innings. So that flexibility you will be seeing in 3 and 4, as was evident in the warm-up games. 5, Harry Brook is fixed. Livingston early to finish. Now, the one part I see with England, because of so many all rounders, is that 7, 8, 9 will need to be juggled around. So I am sure Karan will be playing. Now, we can put Karan at 7 and get an extra bowler in, but we have gone for a batting heavy lineup because ultimately they do not have bowlers who are going to take a lot of wickets.
Right.
They'll have more containment bowlers. So 10 and 11 is fixed for us. Adil Rashid and Markwood are going to be wicket takers and the enforcers in the middle. 9 is Chris Stokes and Chris Jordan, because Chris Stokes with the new ball is good. Chris Jordan apparently is good with the nah, at the death, which I haven't seen yet. And this guy, I think even Dhoni could not get him to bowl at the death. So I think that speaks in itself, that this guy might not be the death bowler that he claims to be. For England, he does a decent job, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
nothing against him. Probably it's just my RCB fandom speaking here, because he was selected as a death bowler and then he never
Yeah.
delivered the entire season. So every team takes him for that. And now I think the final point was when CSK took him, and then even they could not get a performance because Dhoni turned Sam Curran, who bowls at 120, 125 into a death bowler. So trust me, if you have the skill in CSK, you would have been showing that. But Jordan is a big question, but England rate him highly, so that's why I put him here. Otherwise, I would not have kept him in the squad. Honestly, I would have gone with somebody else, unknown or something. So
We get
that's
it,
pretty much a
Sumit.
playing
You're
11.
not a Jordan fan, so
Yeah, yeah. No RCB person would be.
yeah.
So coming to stumbling blocks, one major stumbling block will be Mark Wood's injury status. So this guy, because of his speed and his injury history, will need to be rested around. I don't think he's going to play every match. I think he'll play the big matches and then he'll be rotated so that he's fit for the knockouts, which are only 2 games really in this tournament, so not a
Right.
big deal. So that injury concern will be there, and I think. maybe the gung ho approach, similar thing. If they go very hard, because they have Malan as a circuit breaker, but yeah, I think Brook will take care of that in case they need somebody to just maneuver for singles and keep things steady for a bit before Ali and Livingston come in. So they go very hard, and if it fails, if you get the early wickets 2-3, it'll be interesting what the approach will be. Will they follow the same approach, or will they modify and just try to play the situation and then go for a big finish? Because their long batting helps them to achieve that. Even later on, they can score really hard and
Right,
reach
they can
a
make up.
minimum
Yeah.
160, 170. So anything you see in this lineup?
For me, Sumit, I think while it might not be a stumbling block eventually, but I think they are going to miss out on what Bairstow brings, right? Considering he's been instrumental in the baseball revolution in Test cricket, where Test bowlers fear him now, right? Let's be honest. He's
Yes.
brought out that
Yeah,
fear
yeah, yeah.
in Test. Even in the recent IPL, I remember he did very well as an opener.
As an
So
opener.
in their ideal scheme of things, Butler and Bairstow would have been like a dream opening combination, right? So, especially with now Jason Roy, going out of favor. So, that
Yes.
is one thing which, might, maybe in a crunch game where you never know if England are 30 for 3 or 40 for 3, they might miss out, Bairstow's approach where even if they are 2 or 3 down, with a few lusty
Hmm.
hits, he can bring the equation in England's favor. So he's one player I'm sure they'll miss out on.
Yes, and I think one more flaw I see with this lineup, and even if I see the squad, is as I mentioned, the 7, 8, 9 might have to be rotated around, because as of today, Sam Curran is fairly new to the death bowling, but he'll be one of the death bowlers. You need someone else also to accompany him, right? So Markwood is not that guy. He normally finishes by 16 or 17, because he has such extra pace. It's very difficult to, like, it's easy actually to counter it in the end. But
Right.
when in the middle, so he's the enforcer in the middle to take the wickets, right? Which is a crucial stage also in T20 cricket, to take wickets in the 7 to 15 over period. So in this lineup, again, if you put Jordan as a death over specialist, you can play. So that's when I think maybe Ali might be dropped, which is a big call.
Hmm.
But then you get Timon Mills in, because he is again a death bowler, and again not performed to his pedigree, but MI has taken a punt on him last year, so even there he did not do so well. So that is the only question mark I have. The death bowling, because I seeing Karan, I really think he'll do well, but the other supporting bowler in the end is a question mark. So let's see what England decide, or maybe Chris Stokes does the job by bowling only 1 over and Karan bowls two. So from 17 to 20, you're sorted in a way. So yeah, that is pretty much it. But again, a very strong squad, and like Australia, very well balanced, long batting lineup, a number of bowling options. So yeah, hard to find loopholes here.
True, but I think, yeah, if they are beaten in this tournament, I think it's more likely to be the bowling letting them down, because I just
Yes.
don't see this batting maybe, let's say, stumbling for 140 all out or 150 all out, and
Yes. Yes.
the batting lead letting them down. I see the bowling letting them down. Maybe in a crunch game, they could
Mm.
leak maybe up to 200 runs, which maybe the batsmen don't match up, or let's say the batting gets 180 and they're not able to defend it. So if I was an England fan, I think I would be slightly worried about the bowling, but I think the batting is like just too powerful, right? So they'll have to hope that
Yes.
their batting carries them through.
So yeah, so that's it, guys. This was a preview for the England squad. Me and Suja agree that yeah, they are the favorites with Australia. Let's see how far they go. Our guess is obviously semis is a given. Then it's about the knockouts, which is a lottery, as we said. So we'll be reviewing one more side after this, which is South Africa, and they have their own issues because they have a non-playing captain who they have to adjust. So we'll discuss on that further. And yeah, so we'll see you in the next video. Suja,
Yeah,
you want to add anything?
and of course, guys, without forgetting, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we really, really look forward to your inputs. So please share in and please send in your love and please share your inputs. Until then, ciao.